is one of the most grossest movies in the world. I ain't never took my coat and hooded over my face like that.
I thought it was very powerful. It just turned my mind.
Terrible. And I just found it really horrible.
Welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be talking about some of the most haunted film sets in history. But before we get started, I'm Sophia Lovelace and I post about ghosts, ghouls, anything creepy and cool. So if any of that stuff interests you, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below to be notified when I have new uploads. Also, when you're down there, make sure to hit the bell icon to be one of the first people notified when I have new uploads. And you should totally do that because it is free. So if you want some free spooky content, make sure to hit that bell icon. So before we get started, I just want to have a little bit of disclaimer. If I seemed a little bit rushed, or if I seem a little bit chaotic, or if you've noticed that I haven't changed the board in my background, except for I changed the subscriber count from 550 to 560 because we gained 10 subscribers this week. But I decided I'm gonna film this video because all day I wanted to film a video, but I just couldn't figure out what video to film. So I wanted to ask you guys today, what videos do you want to see next? Now I already know that you guys want to see more of my black-eyed children videos because you guys love those. And I have posted a video about UFOs and you guys really like that one. I got a lot of feedback on that one and how to make it better. And I've also gotten a lot of requests to do more spooky space stories or alien abduction stories. So I'm definitely planning on doing more of those types of videos. But what kind of videos would you guys like to see? Would you like me to do videos on vampires, more ghost videos, more cryptid videos, so like Bigfoot and chupacabras? Let me know down in the comments below. I will definitely do anything. The only thing that I've decided that I will not talk about on this channel is serial killers. But if you have any requests for any spooky thing like that, make sure to leave it down below. And just like in all of my videos, I will make sure to leave any links that I get any of this information from down in the description below. So if you want to see the article that I'm taking this information from, or if you just want to read it for yourself, make sure to go check it out after this video. So the first film on this list is actually from a very recent movie. Now, I really want to see this movie. It started a whole craze, I remember, on YouTube, and this video is The Possession, which was made or released in 2012. Now, this video is very different from a lot of other horror movies featured on this list, and a lot of other horror movies and movies involving demons and ghosts in the horror movie, or the horror movie genre in general. So this video is actually of a Jewish perspective on demons and a dybbuk box. So what dybbuk boxes are a belief or a kind of ritual that is done in the Jewish religion, which is basically sealing a demon in a box. And there's a very particular ritual for this, and there's plenty of videos describing how to make a dybbuk box here on YouTube, and definitely why you should never open a dybbuk box. And definitely, if you've been into the paranormal for a few years now, you definitely remember this trend being on YouTube of people buying supposedly haunted dybbuk boxes online and then opening them or just reviewing them. So I remember this being a huge trend, and I am definitely interested in watching this movie. So on the set of this movie, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who is known for his role in Supernatural as playing Sam and Dean's dad, and then also he was in The Walking Dead and he played Negan. And he reported some strange things happening on set, and as well as a few other people who, cast and crew working on set, described the same things happening to them. So one of the most common things happening on set was light bulbs exploding. Now this is very terrifying because I don't think I've ever witnessed this in my real life, and being a YouTuber and even being into theater and stuff like that, I deal with a lot of light bulbs. and I have never seen one explode in my life before. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, I'm just saying that if it ever were to happen, I would be absolutely terrified. And also, that being said, having light bulbs explode all the time on a regular basis, that's pretty terrifying. Another common thing reported on set by both cast and crew was feeling cold breezes. Now, if you're into the paranormal and if you know a lot about ghosts, this was even mentioned in Harry Potter, but this idea of when a ghost is near you or when a ghost walks through you feeling ice cold. Now, this was mentioned in Harry Potter because it is a very common theory and belief held about ghosts. Now, the reason that people think that this happens is because the ghosts are stealing energy and heat to manifest themselves. And heat is one of the most common forms of energy, heat and light. So they're likely to absorb that to manifest themselves. So that is why people associate cold breezes with ghosts. Now, the most terrifying thing that happened on the set of The Possession was that the storage place or the storage building that held all the props while they were filming this movie caught fire. Now, that is not the most strangest thing, but what makes it so strange... Sorry, that was so weird. I thought I saw someone over there, but there isn't anyone there. I'm alone in my basement. Or at least I thought I was. Send help. But the storage unit that was holding all the props for this movie caught fire. Now, that is not necessarily strange in itself. It's very tragic because film sets are expensive and the props are very expensive, and the people that design the props put a lot of time into creating these props, so it is very tragic. However, investigators were not able to determine if it was arson, so someone setting fire to the building on purpose and illegally, or if it was an electrical issue, which is very strange because those are two very different scenarios that could have happened. So that's what makes it pretty terrifying. Also, the dybbuk box that was used, or the prop dybbuk box that was used in this movie, the cast requested that they did not make another one because they were so terrified of this prop and they didn't feel comfortable using it on set. So when it was destroyed on fire, in the fire, they didn't make another one because the actors were too uncomfortable. And honestly, reasonably so. Now, the next film on this list is The Conjuring, which was created in 2013. Now, I was a little bit weary of including the story on the list because I do have strong opinions about the rumors going around that the new Annabelle movie, Annabelle Comes Home, the set being haunted. Now, my opinion is that it's not necessarily a publicity stunt, but the directors on the set of Annabelle Comes Home, I can't speak today, told the actors that the set was haunted and pulled pranks on the actors to convince them that the set was haunted so they would be on edge and then their reactions would be more realistic, especially since there was a lot of child and children actors on the set of Annabelle Comes Home. So I was a little bit weary of hearing about The Conjuring being haunted because it is set in the same universe, and a lot of people who worked on Annabelle Comes Home, or yeah, Annabelle Comes Home, not Came Home, Comes Home, or is it Came Home? I don't know. The new Annabelle movie, a lot of them worked on The Conjuring, so I was a little bit weary of it, but the stories that the cast and crew have told about their time working on The Conjuring are just too terrifying not to include. So the movie is set on the true story of the Piron family. And several members of the family, including the mother of the family, refuse to step on set. And this was for several reasons. The first being is that whenever the family came to set, or whenever a member of the family came to set to visit, a strange breeze would follow them. And when they would look, and this is the most terrifying part of the story, and when they would look at the surrounding trees, the trees were not moving. So the wind was mysteriously following them, but not affecting their surroundings. Another thing that happened during the filming of The Conjuring is that the hotel that the cast and crew was staying in caught fire as they were filming this movie. Now, if this was a publicity stunt, or if this was the actors, or if this was the directors and the crew pulling a prank on the actors and trying to get them to act more realistically, this would be a very, very big step to take. So that's why I'm not entirely convinced, and now I'm a little bit nervous about my previous thoughts about the new Annabelle movie. Maybe that movie set was haunted, because this seems like a very extreme thing to do to try to get your actors to act more realistically. So I'm starting to think this set is cursed. Another strange thing that happened during the filming of The Conjuring is that the director reported one night when he was working on stuff for the film in his office that his dog started barking and growling at nothing. And nothing he could do could stop the dog from growling and barking. And he couldn't figure out why his dog was so scared, because nothing was there. So that is a pretty spooky story, and there is some theories out there that animals and children are able to see spirits when adult humans cannot. So maybe he saw something that actually was there, which is really spooky. And the final thing that happened on the set of The Conjuring was that one of the actresses who played the investigator in the film said that she refused to take the script home because she just got eerie feelings from it. And one of the first nights after coming home from filming on the Conjuring set, she opened up her laptop to see 3 scratches across the screen, as if some sort of animal or monster had scratched it. And also, it's an important thing to note that a lot of people and a lot of paranormal theorists believe that demons do things in 3. So they'll leave you 3 scratches, 3 knocks, and this is said to be the mocking of the Trinity. So this is a Christian belief of Jesus, the Holy Spirit, and God. Now, the third story on this list, I did debate on whether or not including it in this video, because it is about the Amityville horror. So there is 2 versions of the movie, and both of them claim to have spooky happenings that happened on set. So both the 1979 version of the movie and then also the 2005 version of the movie. So the reason I was hesitant to include the Amityville movie on my channel is because, like I said in the beginning of this video, I am very hesitant to talk about serial killers or murderers on my channel. Essentially, I just don't want to give them attention or any credit. And if you are familiar with the Amityville story, part of it involves a murder happening in the house. But I decided I'm going to include the talking about the movie because the movie is not reality. It's a recreation. And then also, I'm not necessarily talking about the story, I'm just talking about what's happening to the actors. So in the 1979 version, the lead actor, James Borden, was reading the script for one of the first times in his house when, and this is actually a quite funny story, this isn't as terrifying as the other stories, but he was reading the script when one of his pants fell off the hanger in his closet, and it scared him so much because he was in one of the scarier scenes in the movie. So he was at one of the more scarier parts in the script, and it caused him to literally jump. Now, that one is a pretty funny story because I've definitely been in that situation before, where you're reading something really scary or watching a really scary YouTube video, and then something moves or drops completely casually, probably not something supernatural, and you freak out. That's definitely happened to me a few times, so that's why I included it in this video, because that is super relatable. In 2005, Ryan Reynolds played the same character, so he played the lead actor in this version of the Amityville horror. So one of the first things to mention is that during one of the first few days of filming of the movie, that a dead body washed along the shores of one of the local rivers close to where they were filming. So that is pretty terrifying, not necessarily paranormal, a very terrifying coincidence, but scary nonetheless. Also, a lot of the cast and crew, including Ryan Reynolds, reported that they woke up at 3:15 a.m. every morning. Now, this is terrifying because this is apparently the time that the Amityville murders happened in real life. So this really freaked out the crew, and this really freaked out the cast, and this definitely freaked out me. So the next movie on this list is definitely one of my favorite movies of all time. Not just my favorite horror movie, but definitely one of my favorite movies of all time, and also one of my favorite books, and that is Psycho, which was made in 1960. So what happened on the set of Psycho is not necessarily paranormal, but quite terrifying. And because this happened, some people have reported that the film and the movie is cursed. So there was an uncredited body double for the lead actress Janet Leigh. She was murdered by one of the people working on set, and when the police asked him if he did it, he did confess right away, and he said that his reasoning was because he wanted to impress the director Alfred Hitchcock. But because this happened, some people have claimed that this film will forever be cursed, and that is why it is one of the scariest films, is because it has that also tragic backstory with it. So I thought I would leave one of the most iconic haunted horror movie sets in history for last, and that is The Exorcist, made in 1973. So this video, or this movie, sorry, is terrifying for several reasons. Now, one of the reasons that people claim that The Exorcist is so terrifying even now is because there isn't any CGI or computer effects. So what makes the creation of The Exorcist so terrifying is not only the lack of computer generated effects, but also 3 people passed away during the creation of this film. So one of the lead actors passed away a few days before he finished on set. A special effects artist died while filming the movie, and then also a security guard passed away while this movie was being filmed. So not only was there 1 death on set, but there was a total of 3 deaths on set. Also, another thing that happened on set, which is similar to the first film that I mentioned on this list, which was The Possession. However, this is a step further than just the storage building being burned down, but the entire set of The Exorcist burned down while they were filming the movie. Now, the director did call in a priest to the set after this happened, mainly to make the actors in the cast and the crew feel more relaxed and not be as worried. But several reported that the strange happenings continued, and that even the happenings and the paranormal experiences that people had were getting worse, which is something that some people have reported with bringing in a priest and performing an actual exorcism somewhere, is that the activity can get worse. So you need to be very careful and need to come up with some backup plans, or if you're planning on doing an exorcism, because sometimes they don't work, which is terrifying, especially since your movie is called The Exorcist. Now, several have claimed that by the priest performing an exorcism on the set, it actually cursed the film. And that is why several people have reported to have heart attacks or have died while watching The Exorcist. Now, I'm going to share a clip right here of some of the people who have seen The Exorcist for the first time when it was first released in 1973. Now, when this movie was released, it was a cultural phenomenon. People were freaking out, people were walking out of the theater and claiming that this is one of the most terrifying films of all time. So take a look at some of these people's reaction to The Exorcist.
The movies in the world. I ain't never took my coat and hood over my face like that.
I thought it was very powerful. Just drew my mind.
Terrible. And I just found it really horrible. I just had to come out.
It's really gross.
So what are your opinions on the films that I put on this list. Are the film sets actually haunted? Are these movies actually cursed? Make sure to leave your thoughts down below. So when you're down there, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Just like I said before, I'm Sophia Lovelace and I posted about ghosts, ghouls, anything creepy and cool. So if you like any of that stuff, make sure to hit the subscribe button to be notified when I have new uploads. Also, make sure to hit the bell icon to be one of the first people notified when I have new uploads. And I think that's it for today. Make sure to stay spooky and